Alrighty, here is the video review for one of the new TFCon 2020 online exclusives, Mastermind Creations reformatted VEXO PROMINON. He is super cool. Now, he was intended to be my first review with the new backdrop, with the new phone and everything. And I was going to go out yesterday and get some new backdrop material, and then life happened, and everything's fine. We're all good. When I say life happened, just I started a project of cleaning out the closet in the office, and did not realize it was going to take me all the way until dinner time to get that done. So I did not run out yesterday and get that backdrop, and then today I had to go to work, and I had a meeting before work, so I didn't even get a chance to go out before work and grab something. So hopefully in the next couple of times you see me, we will have a brand new backdrop, because this camera is like, one, magic, two, showing like every flaw that even I can't see with my naked eye. Like whatever this is, like it is faint. It is like a ghost of a thing. Even looking directly at it, getting right up on it, it's like some of this very tip part is like a slight discoloration, but very faint. And yet on the camera, it looks like this big black spot, and I don't know what is going on there. But anyway, this is all going to get replaced. So enough about that. But anyway, this came from Toy Dojo. This was there. I think you could also get it at ages 3 and up and through the Planet Steel Express website. This came from Toy Dojo, and it showed up here today, which was super fast shipping. I saw some other people got theirs today as well. That's super cool for a super cool exclusive. I also did order the Helios from Chosen Prime, the War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron powered convoy. So I'm looking forward to that, because that blue and black just looks gorgeous, and it'll go really well with my Delta Man. That's from Make Toys. I just really like that color scheme on Prime. Anyway, on to this guy, who is a repaint of, what was his name? Ultio, their Rat Bat, which of course was a repaint from Stray and Dark Stray, their Drift and Deadlock. So it was just kind of a hover car, and then they added these wings to it. And it's very cool. Just that alt mode is fantastic, even with the wings folded up. And of course, the wings can fold out to the side here for a wider wingspan and anywhere in between. But that is a really awesome looking alt mode. And I did finally, I don't have Ultio to compare him with. This is my first time with this jet plane version of the mold. But I did, in fact, order an Ultio, and I'll have him on the way this week. So we'll do some comparisons when he shows up, which is, of course, the Rat Bat version they did. I don't think it was a convention exclusive, but they first released it at TFCon, I think a couple years ago. TFCon DC, maybe? It's been out there. But really cool, really nice blue cockpit here on the vehicle mode. And he does turn into, as many of you know, his alt mode is essentially Batman. There's his yellow belt, and we'll see that. So it makes it's a really fantastic, both by itself, and if you think of it as like the Batwing or the Batjet, really works. It's just super great. Like I said, you want to just have the wings a little bit like that. That looks cool. It looks like a bat. I guess it was coming from Rat Bat. That's not a huge surprise. If you want to, you can even angle these hinges down a little bit. I don't think it works quite as good, but you can get a kind of a cool. Actually, that kind of doesn't look too bad. However you want to do it, you can customize some of the display pieces. His landing gear do fold up, although if you want the wings angled down, they may not fold up all the way, but just a really nice, very striking deco, despite the fact that it's mostly black with some silver paint. And that's the thing, these edges here on these wings have a silverish tint to them, and in some lights they look like they match the black. And then under bright light, you can see that they're very much silver. But just nice contrast, and just a really fantastic looking alt mode. And to turn him into, or you get the instruction booklet. You can kind of see what he's going to look like in robot mode there. You get the bio card. Although the bio card, it says VEXO PROMINON. He was billed as VEXO PROMINON. It says on the front of his bio card, VEXO PROMINON. And on the back, it says VERO PROMINON. I'm pretty sure VEXO is appropriate, but just FYI. And to transform him, we start up here on the front. Just kind of pop these little panels here. There's a ball joint here. I find it helps you just kind of lift it from the underneath. Just kind of pop it up and out, and kind of start to push up to kind of rotate it on that ball joint, get it up out of the way there. Like that, and then lift these pieces up right here, because the foot back here detaches from right there. It's tabbed on to the turbine. You'll start getting that, so go ahead and get that untabbed. Loose and wiggled, and then you got to separate. This is where it can get tricky. You got to get this cockpit up, and then you can separate these pieces out here. All right, here, these lower pieces. Make sure that gets all the way up. And once you got those up out of the way, you can bring the legs all the way down. See around on this hinge and snap them into place. It's not a super deep click, but they will lock into place and hold fairly securely. And then fold these panels up and around. There's even a little groove here for this hinge. So fold that around. These just kind of sit down on the back of the thigh, the back of the calf, I guess. Fold the toes down and then bring the whole foot down at this ball joint and then fold the heel up like that. And same over here. He does have a little bit of an extra joint. You can fold the leg back a little bit there. So I went a little further back than that, but you've got some rotational peak joint there at the leg. Bring that down. Now the instruction booklets say to turn the waist around at this point, or like I think maybe you undo these first. Just untab the turbines from the body here and bring them up. And do be gentle because they're on they kind of extend up on this ball joint and hinge inside at the torso. And if you pull too hard, you can pop this off the ball joint. And once it's out, you can pop it back on fairly easily. But if it pops off the ball joint while it's still in the torso, it can be a little bit of a pain to get it to pop back on or to get that ball joint out. You may need to get a little tool or just get lucky with trying to snap this back on. You lift those up and out like this. Like I said, the instructions say right now to rotate it at the waist. And you really can't. I don't know why it's even saying that, because before you can do that, you need to kind of wiggle this piece up. And be careful, because this is transparent plastic and I don't want you to crack it. But if you kind of get right here, after the first time you do it, it comes up a lot easier. But you want to get this whole assembly out of the way and down a little bit. And then you can pull these pieces up, untab them from the back of the thighs here, and rotate them out because they are also on ball joints and hinges in here. But if you can untab that from the leg and rotate that out, and then you have the clearance to actually spin them around at the waist, because before all of this was right up against these pieces, and like I was afraid I was going to break him trying to turn him around earlier. But if you get those out of the way, everything is fine. Let's bring that around like that and just leave this sitting down here for right now. And you can go ahead and fold the arms up out of there and extend them. And then come around to the front. You can go ahead and fold these turbine covers down to the front and bring these around so his arms come down. Rotate them around so his fists face the right way and his elbows rotate. The elbows only bend one way, so if you can't bend it, you've got it facing the wrong way. So rotate his elbows up and around. And let me bring the camera up real quick here. There we go. And then this piece right here, lift up a little bit, unpeg it from here. There's a peg here that pegs in, and open up the chest plate, which will allow this to rotate around and bring the head up. Before you fold this up, make sure to fold out these panels a little bit further out to the side and bring this around. And then you fold the backpack up and peg it back in there. Get the arms out of the way because these hinges need to go underneath them. Yeah, peg that in and then lift the arms up, and these snap into place right underneath the arm hinge and lock the whole backpack into place. And you can bring those down, snap the chest plate into place, turn his head around, and there's even a little hinge here. If you don't want this sitting up as much, you can kind of fold up and hide, give him a little bit more of some kind of shoulder vent looking things. And then the wings, you can just kind of fold down to the side here. Make sure to fold the landing gear back down if you folded them up. You can fold these down to the side here. And there is VEXO PROMINON in robot mode. And he's really great. It's a really nice Batman deco. Just that little, when we first saw pictures, they were just of the upper body. And I couldn't even see in some of the pictures, you couldn't even see just how much the contrast between the black and the gray up here. I thought it was all just kind of a solid black. And I was thinking like, man, with that little molded detail right there, if you just took this kind of angled piece on the chest and painted that yellow, that could look like a bat symbol. And then when I saw the full pictures with the yellow belt and then the gray, and that there actually is like the black detailing that looks like the bat symbol, it's a really nice looking Batman homage here on the figure. And I got to zoom in on this head sculpt, because this head sculpt is fantastic, because he's Prominon, which generally denotes a prime in Mastermind Creations lines. And if you just look at that, I can get this camera to lock into place. It is, it's very, like, it looks like Batman, but if you look at the sculpted details, that's very much a prime helmet. I mean, if they did this in like a blue and a gray, not only would it look like Batman, like another classic Batman costume, but also make a very nice Convoy or Onyx Primal, or just the blue and gray Optimus Prime bat from the first Beast Wars thing. So just, but I mean, like, but look, it's just so evocative of both Optimus and Batman, and it's just such a fantastic head sculpt, and probably my favorite part of this whole thing. Even though I love the alt mode, I love the robot mode, but that head sculpt is just fantastic. Just with a little, just everything about it. The way it is both simultaneously Batman and Optimus is just really, really cool. Now he does have some features. He's got a lot of posability. I mean, a lot of posability. He's got the ball joint at the neck. He's got, like I said, the hinge and the ball joint at the shoulder, so the arms have a nice big range of motion in them. He's got forward and back there. He's got a bicep swivel. He does have dual hinged elbows, although he can kind of get in the way with all this stuff up here. He's got wrist swivel. He's got articulated fingers, the index finger and then the other three as one solid chunk, but they are articulated, and he can hold 5mm peg stuff. These are on ball joints to get out of the way for posing. He's got front to back. These little panels come up. Got front to back, side to side on the hip. Good thigh rotation. Double hinge knees, although again, some of the bulk prevents them from being fully posable. You can kind of get that out of the way, but, you know, just to get it up a little bit more, but not much. And he's got the ball joint at the ankle, ball joint here on the toe, and then a hinge back here on the heel. So he's actually quite limber, as you would expect Batman to be. Also, you can pull off either of the wings. I'm just going to, I don't know why this is suddenly, like, I can lock it in and then it just decides that it's just going to fall on the ball joint. There's a ball joint at the bottom of this tripod. You can pull these off and you can give him his wings as little, like, swords or scimitar type weapons. And also underneath the wing, you can pull this piece off and give him some ninja claws. Now this looks a little awkward like this, but if you put it in the top part of his hand where it looks more like a Wolverine claw, it also covers up the top of his hand, and that looks awkward. So to really get the best effect, you swap hands, and then you can plug it in from the underside, give him Wolverine claws, and then you can also kind of see his hand. Just looks like a cool melee weapon. So you've got all those options, and again, there's another claw over here that you can swap into the other hand. And you just plug that in, plug that back in, and rotate that down. But then we're not done yet, because there's the added bonus little thing they included in the box is a fabric bat cape. It's got a little bit of dust on it, but that's okay. And not just that, it's got a little hole for his head, but it's fully all the way around, from here all the way around and down to here. Not on the bottom, but that whole loop, it's wired, so it's posable. So you want to be careful with it, because if you bend, thin wire, if you bend it too much, it's going to snap. It's all in there. It does feel a little less than premium, but it does the job. Like, it's just a piece of fabric. You can see the stitching. We just kind of folded over a piece of wire and sewn together. I don't know how much faith I have in that stitching holding over time or a lot of use, but it gets the job done. And you don't even have to take his head off I popped this head off to put this on, and then I realized I didn't need to. There's a little hole right here that you can fit right over his head. And the wire in the front, you just kind of tuck under his chin. I find works. Well, that doesn't look silly, but you can, like you said, it's got the wire in it, so you can bring it down, and you can have it swaying in the, blowing in the breeze. That's not supernatural, but, although speaking of supernatural, there's only a few episodes left, and who knows what's going to happen. I think I know what's going to happen on Supernatural, but I have my own theories. My wife knows them. We'll find out if they're true. But there's only one way I feel like that thing can end, and we'll just have to see if I'm right. But yeah, so you can pose the cape billowing. You can have it kind of drape behind him, curl around him from the sides. It does. The only drawback is because of the backpack bits. It does kind of hunch up behind his back there, so you can't get it laying down flat very easily. But you've got a lot of different options for the cape. And I just think, like I said, you don't need it. I think it's very evocative of the character and looks cool without the cape. But if you just want a little bonus, hey, look, he's got a fabric cape. Let's see if we can't maybe build this bit out a little bit more behind him and then still have it come out to the sides. Well, like I said, I'm not very good at thin wire posing stuff, but there you go. So cool. Again, that was available at Toy Dojo. I think it's sold out everywhere. I know it sold out on Toy Dojo first, and then I think ages 3 and up sold out, and then I'm pretty sure it had ended up selling out on Planet Steel Express. So will it come back again? I don't know. I hope so, because he's super fun, and I don't like the idea that somebody who like didn't see it in time, because it got announced on Thursday and sold out on Saturday. It went up for sale and sold on Saturday. Like, you missed the weekend and you could be out. And so I hope that people who want it get a chance to get it. I forgot to do something on the back. We'll show that off in a minute. But yeah, he's super fun. And if like one went up on eBay and was apparently already going for like $250 and hadn't ended yet, which is, I mean, don't go crazy. But he is super fun. And if you can get him for a decent price, by all means. Real quick, some size comparisons. Here he is with Earthrise Optimus. This is mostly just with some third-party stuff and some other characters just to give you an idea. Here's where he is with Voyager Starscream. Here he is with Planet X Sunstorm. I really like this one too. He's fun. But anyway. And here he is with the aforementioned Delta Manus. Kind of a sneak tease for the other TFCon exclusive that I've got coming. Because the War for Cybertron Optimus, or the Fall of Cybertron, whatever. The Planet X Jupiter in this color scheme looks fantastic. I think, that said, I think this guy might win for convention exclusive for me. Because that's probably one of my favorite convention exclusives in a while. They just did it so well. There's just so much good going on here. I do like. We'll see if Ultio lives up to it, because the mold itself is nice. But I would never have expected this to work so well. And the other thing I forgot to mention, we'll take the cape off real quick. I think this is maybe how this sits in Ultio's alt mode, and that's fine. It just kind of cockpit hanging off the back. That's kind of stereotypical Transformers, or typical Transformers. But you can actually, if you bring this up, and the instructions even say to fold this up on the back like this. It gives him a little bit more of a jutty backpack here, but not by much. I mean, it doesn't come out any further than these shoulder pylons. But I saw a lot of people asking, is that the official position? Because apparently they can't do it on Ultio, and I'll find out if that's the case. But it really is just a matter of like, just when you bring this up, because like this, I don't know if that, maybe they just have that sitting there like that, but you can actually bring this, there's a double hinge here, you can bring this down and kind of fold this up so that this tip kind of goes in that gap there, and then you can fold this up against his back. Now it does limit his waist rotation a little bit, because this will move with the lower half, but you can have that behind his head as well if you want. That's up to you. It sounds like it's personal preference. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the Ultio mold yet, so I can't tell you if they actually changed something or if it's just something that was a little bit more difficult on Ultio that is less difficult here on VEXO PROMINON. But it is specifically in the instructions that you're supposed to fold that right up against his back like that. So I didn't break anything to do it. But there he is. There is TFCon 2020 exclusive from Mastermind Creations, VEXO PROMINON. A very nice homage and just a pretty fantastic figure overall.